So today I'm going to be doing some controller sounds. I'm not using my headphones as a monitor, so let's see how this turns out. Part of the reason why I'm making this video is because it's been a while since I made my last ASMR video, but it's also because the video that I'm working on that I want to put out tomorrow, which would be, be my next uploaded video. My computer's taking a really, really long time to render it, and it's very frustrating. So, the video that I'm going to put out in the future, which I'm not going to tell you what it is about now because it's a surprise, is I'll explain why I'm in this area, this location. I'll just preface it now by saying I'm house sitting right now. So, basically, I'm in somebody else's house taking care of their cat who is making weird sounds right now. And, yeah, so, let's get started. Sorry, Mike. That was the PS4 controller. Okay, well, I guess we're not doing that. Sorry. This is why I could never do a live show, because I would screw up like that, so. Let's get started with my one true console. The Switch. Just kidding. My 3DS. This is by far my favorite console ever, because, and I'll explain it in a little bit. This is actually a very unique console, not just because of what I've done to it, but because of how Nintendo designed it. This actually has, going all the way back to the Game Boy Advance, this has the guts of a Game Boy Advance, because the DS was based on the Game Boy Advance architecture. So, it's actually modeled on it. I might be holding it a bit too high, but it's actually modeled on it, where when the 3DS was being made, it had to have backwards compatibility with DS games. So, they just put the DS system on a chip in this, which then has the Game Boy Advance system on a chip integrated into its system on a chip. So, I keep saying system on a chip because I don't want to say SoC every time. The only thing this doesn't have natively, actually, is the C80 processor or C80 architecture. C80, I think that's it. It's the processor from the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color. They shared processors, so that's why the Game Boy Color is able to play Game Boy games, and the Game Boy Advance is able to play Game Boy Color and Game Boy games because it has that architecture built into it. So it's a bit like a Russian nesting doll of consoles. This is by far my favorite. I've done some minor modification to this on the hardware, which is to put a PSP-style nub. PSP-style, it's from a PSP, but put a PSP nub over the original, where the original C-stick nub on the new 3DS goes. Mainly because I don't really like the rubbery feeling of the C-stick nub on the new 3DS models, so I just put that on it. It's much more textured and it has a better feel. It's also really sensitive, which is actually kind of nice because with the old one, it wasn't as sensitive as I would like, and it wasn't as precise. So, like when I was playing Smash Brothers, either on my Wii U using my 3DS as a controller or on my 3DS, it never felt like I didn't know if I could do a smash attack using the C-stick. Like, it never felt really that, like, level of snappiness. Like, when you have a second analog stick, you can just execute smash attacks really easily. And that's another reason why I like this model, is because I feel like this is the ultimate 3DS model. Like, it really is the best 3DS model there is. So yeah, let's do some button sounds. That was a really long explainer. B button. X. Y. The D-pad. And sorry, the cat just jumped up on its perch. I just really like this console. The aesthetics are great. It has a larger screen size than the original 3DS model. The XL is just too big for me. I do have a new 3DS XL, but it just wasn't really it for me. Like, I really like it, and I still really like it. It's just the aesthetics didn't quite match up with me, but when I found this one on sale, I was like, yeah, I'm getting it. 100%. Plus, the faceplates are an amazing addition. Like, the 3DS is already a great console inside and out, but like, these make it so it's even more durable, because really the only parts that are like permanent damage would be like the back and like maybe the like front, but that's it. The rest of it you can replace easily. Okay, now I'll do the Switch. So I have my Joy-Cons in the Joy-Con grip. This is the non-battery powered one. This is just the one that came in the box. Unfortunately, I didn't really ever think that I would have to deal with this, but when the Switch first came out and the Joy-Cons first came out with it, the left Joy-Con, the way it's manufactured, the antenna system gets blocked very easily, and it has very low reception, very poor reception quality, which I didn't have to deal with before, because when I play this at home, the way my setup is made, and you've seen this in the background of my videos before, the TV that I play video games on is like 2 feet away from where I sit, and so my Switch is even closer than that because it's on my actual desk. But the TV here at the house I'm staying at is this humongous. I think it's like a 65-inch or 70. It's really huge. Like, it's almost the same size as the cabinet as it's sitting on. It's like a 4K Vizio HDR set. I think it's a Vizio brand, but it's 4K HDR, I believe. Which makes games look really, really good, even if it's from the Switch. With like no anti-aliasing, it still looks really good. But I had connectivity issues, which really frustrates me, because now I feel like I should have just gone ahead and done it, because I did get my Switch on launch day. This is a first production unit. Like, this is fresh. And so, yeah, I have to play ARMS sitting much, much, much closer to the TV than I would like. Like, I have to sit probably halfway between where I'm sitting now and the TV just to get consistent signal, because I was in an online match, and the right Joy-Con works fine, but the left Joy-Con, which handles your movement in ARMS, was completely bugging out. Where, like, I was holding it normally, I was just holding it normally, and it just wouldn't, like, Twindell was just, like, it was a weird lag feeling, but it wasn't lag, because I felt lag. It's not that. It was just bad. So I'll either get some new Joy-Cons, or if Nintendo's still doing that repair promotion, I can just do that instead. So I can still send in my Joy-Con. Sorry. I'm not going to do button clicking on this, only because the buttons on this are very similar to the 3DS. when I first got my Switch, I actually realized my 3DS buttons and the Switch buttons are basically identical. Like if you actually look at the ABXY, like I could Photoshop my Switch buttons onto my 3DS and they would look basically the same, which kind of bamboozled me at first because I want to say the Wii U buttons are bigger, and the PS4 buttons are huge compared to the Switch buttons. So I'm not going to do the Switch sounds only because there's not really anything different. There is something different. So yeah, but yeah, the button sounds aren't really anything special on this. I really love the aesthetics of the Switch controller. Like, I'm actually really happy I got the neon set because I originally was kind of torn. It's like, do I match my own aesthetic and get the gray controllers, or do I get, because the Switch unit itself, like the actual tablet, there's nothing special about each unit. They're all identical, but the controllers are what's different. But then I realized I was like, well, the Switch is kind of iconic for, it's going to be iconic, or it is iconic for its Joy-Cons, specifically the neon red, and which it looks like orange, but the neon red and the neon blue. I'm red-green colorblind, so this looks like orange. Like, this looks like warning cone orange, or like a caution sign orange. This does not look red, really. Well, I guess orange is it's just a secondary color of red. So, I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy 15 because I got my PS4, I want to say like 4 months ago now, and I have a lot of games that I have not finished for it that I have. Like, I bought a 2 terabyte external drive just to hold games. Like, that's how many games I have on it. And one of the weird things is coming from the PS3, which is the only other PlayStation console I had before that, but coming from the PS3 where all my games were disc-based, I didn't really have any reason to download games. And then when I got my PS4, I decided, because with my 3DS, I recently, probably in the last 6 months, I switched over to all download games. I no longer use 3DS cartridges. It's all download, and I have well over 200 games on my 3DS. Not just 3DS games, but 200 games of everything, well over that, actually. So when I got my PS4, I got everything downloaded, and about a week after, actually almost exactly a week after filling it up, I think 6 days after getting it, I'd already completely filled the hard drive. I got a 500 gigabyte PS4 Slim used on Amazon for around $200, which was a steal. I got it actually for about as much as I paid for my new 3DS XL, which was insane. But yeah, I got my PS4 Slim. It was in great condition, like original box and everything when I got it. I think somebody just bought it and then returned it, and I got it through the Amazon warehouse. But I'd filled up the internal storage in less than a week, and then I got a 2 terabyte drive. I only have 2 physical games for it. The game that came with it, which was Uncharted 4, Thief's End, and then I also got No Man's Sky, because I make bad decisions and can't help myself when it comes to making those bad decisions. So I only spent like $17 on it, which some people would say is $17 too much. But I got the UK version of the game because it was the cheapest, and the PS4 is region free. So I did have to download the update from the PSN, from the European PSN store. Actually, no. Never mind. I don't know. And so, right after I got it, I don't know, a month or 2 after I got it, the new huge expansion came out, and so it actually made it worth playing. And I really enjoy it. Like, I genuinely really enjoy it. It's a bit like Animal Crossing in that way for me, where I don't feel the need to like sit down and play it and kind of like chapterize it for myself, because it's a sandbox. It's an 18 quintillion planet sandbox, and so I can do, sorry, burp, so I can do literally anything in it. And yeah, I have No Man's Sky. I'm currently playing through Final Fantasy 15, which looks bomb ass on a HDR 4K TV. Even though I have a base PS4, it still looks amazing. But yeah, I have Final Fantasy 15 on that. Working through that right now. I'm still really early in the game. I'm only like 15% of the way through. Like, I'm not even on a story mission right now. I'm getting the chocobos. I'm unlocking the chocobos. Like, that's how early I am in the game. Oh, I also have one game that I haven't even opened. Like, I literally downloaded it and haven't even opened it. Is Fallout 4. The base game, not any of the expansions, just Fallout 4. So I haven't even launched it. I know I have some others, but I can't even remember what else. Oh, I have Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, because I had Black Flag on the PS3, and then I sold that to my best friend along with the Assassin's Creed game, because her little sister, who's also my best friend, it sounds weird calling her little sister. They're like 2 years apart, and they're both two of my best friends. They are my two best friends. But I sold my last PS3 to her, which was PS3 Slim, and I sold that alongside Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag for the PS3. And then I got another PS3 about like 8 or 10 months later, which was a fat PS3. So I actually kind of got an upgrade only because the fat PS3 plays everything. So I thought about getting Assassin's Creed 4 again for that, but I decided against it, and instead got it for the Wii U, because why not get one of the greatest Assassin's Creed games for basically the Nintendo Dreamcast. I love the Wii U, trust me. There are some areas which I just get really frustrated with Nintendo. And then I got it for the PS4. So I myself don't really play it, only because I've just never really been able to get into Assassin's Creed games. But my brother used to play it a lot. He's one of those weird people where he's like, I don't really like games, but then he'll find this one game and he'll play it for like 18 hours continuously and beat the entire thing. That's what he did with Need for Speed Most Wanted on the PS3, like the new one, is he just sat down and beat the entire game in one day. Like, he came to me Saturday morning, one weekend, and asked me, hey, are you using your PS3? And I was like, no. And he was like, oh, do you want to move it into the lounge and so I can play Need for Speed Most Wanted? And I was like, yeah, because I'm the kind of person where I'm like a drug lord, where it's like, oh, you want to play video games? Okay, I'll give you all the video games that I have, and you can play all of them right now. Like, I'll give you a great deal on them. So I moved my PS3 fat into the library or the lounge, because it's our library, but it also has one of our flat screen TVs in it. So I just hooked it up to that, and then he played Need for Speed Most Wanted from 8 a.m. to like 8 p.m. He played it all day. Like, I would like go, leave, get showered, come back down, get lunch, do my own stuff, draw some, go into the lounge, and he'd still be playing. So anyway, that was a really long tangent. So let's get on to the PS4 controller sounds, and then I have a special guest controller / console. So comment down below what you think it is. So this is actually the PS3 Slim controller, and I'm not gonna try to hit the PS button only because I don't want to be messing around with a controller while my PS4 is turned on, which it isn't right now. So, but I can still do the button sounds. audio recorder interface actually keeps freezing because I'm importing, rendering, and recording right now. So I'm rendering footage. I'm importing footage. Well, importing and rendering footage in Final Cut Pro, and then I'm recording audio in GarageBand all at the same time. So my quad core, well, dual core, hyper-threaded in a quad core CPU is just melting. Okay, to finish this video off, I'm going to bring in my special guest, which I'm looking at right now. I got this console for one reason. Well, one game and one game only, and it is the only game I own on it. I have its younger brother at my house, or its younger sibling at my house, which I got specifically because the custom firmware scene on it is amazing, and I wanted to play nothing but PS1 games on it, and so now I got a PS Vita Slim just to play Persona 4 because I am a Persona whore. Hey, that rhymes. I really. Oh, that's another PS4 game that I'm working on, Persona 5. So I actually got Persona 4 and then 5, or 5 and then 4. I think I got 5 and then 4. Because I'd wanted to get Persona 5 for a really long time, ever since it came out. And I knew it was on the PS3, but when I watched performance videos, it just wasn't that good. Plus, it was an excuse to kind of get a PS4, because I wanted the best experience playing it. And so I got a PS Vita Slim and a PS Vita TV. That's not the sibling that I was referring to. So I got a PS Vita TV first, and then like 2 days later I got the PS Vita Slim, the PS Vita 2000, because I wanted to play Persona on the go, and I believe I actually have it in here right now. Yep. Where is it? Okay, it's dead. Yeah, I probably should play this more, because what'll happen is I'll charge it up and then not play it, so it just dies again. But yeah, so this is my Persona game. I love it. I love it very much. I still wish they would, they being Sony, would bring proper, like actually good PS1 support and PS2 support to the PS4. And I understand the PS2 emulation is a lot more complicated, but seriously, bring PS1 emulation and PS1 game support to the PS4, because for the love of God, Sony, you have so many good games. So many good games, and you're not taking advantage of them. I understand the PS3 is totally different architecture. I don't expect them to ever bring PS3 games to a PlayStation platform as emulated games, unless it's like the PS5 or 6, just because it would have to be that much more powerful. But I really want PS1 games on the PS4. I want it so badly. I want it so badly. So, yeah, I got PS Vita. I was actually really impressed with this when I got it. It's a really solid little console. If they had actually like given it proper support in the West, I think it could have given a good challenge to the 3DS. And for reference, the PSP, I have a PSP 2000 at home, but the PSP sold, I want to say like 80 to 85 million units, which was really good, but was nothing compared to the 120 plus million units the DS family sold. And I want to say the 3DS has sold almost as many units as the PSP now, or more, like in all iterations. But this has only sold, I want to say like maybe a few million units, like really not that good, like not good at all. In Japan, it's way more popular, which is to be expected. But in the US, it just never really got good game support. It has some great games on it, but nothing compared to the DS, nothing compared to the 3DS, and not even that good compared to the PSP, and certainly not anywhere approaching the PS3 or PS4. And I do really appreciate that they made this as kind of a companion to the PS4 because this came out in 2011 or 12. And so the PS4 and the Vita were in joint development because the PS4 was the PS. I want to say. Oh, it was Orbis. So the PS4, its development name was the PlayStation Orbis, and this was the PlayStation Vita, which I believe kept its development name. And so you had the Circle of Life. So you had the PlayStation Circle and PlayStation Life. So Circle of Life, or just kind of a continuation. And then fun fact, the PlayStation VR was codenamed PlayStation. I said Oculus, but that's not it. PlayStation Morpheus, because like the Matrix. Anyway, let's do some button sounds on this real quick, and then I'll wrap up the video. Oh, and that's another thing. One last note on this. If Sony had actually taken the time to design this as a, I guess, controller replacement to the PS4, I think they could have sold a crap ton of these because, as I pointed out at the beginning of the video, the new 3DS XL and the new 3DS regular size both have the full control scheme of a Wii U or Switch even, because it has the L and R buttons and the CL and CR buttons. Which, yeah, the placement's a little bit weird, but I'll give them credit for that. And it had, technically speaking, 2 analog inputs. Although this control scheme reminds me more of the GameCube than anything, minus the CL and CR, only because the GameCube had like a full analog stick and then the C stick, which was an analog stick technically, but it wasn't as it wasn't as refined as the regular control stick. But if Sony had actually taken the time and instead of putting these giant L and R buttons on here, if they had actually split them up somehow into like the L and R and then the CL and CR on the inside, because these are rocker switches, I think they could have done far better. They already had the 2 nubs, and I understand that they couldn't fit a full dual mode thumbstick in where it has the L and R stick and then the R3 and R3 and L3, because you have your L1, L2, L3 functionality when you click in the left stick. I get that they couldn't include that, but they could have still included something. I don't know, maybe they could have included it. Who knows? They definitely could have done the same thing as what they did with the new 3DS, where they just either don't have that functionality built in or they built it in some other way, because as far as I know, Smash Brothers doesn't actually use L3 or R3. It just uses LR, CL, CR, and the two circle pad, or the circle pad and the thumbstick. But yeah, so my voice is starting to get a little hoarse, and I need to get up and drink some water. I need some water. So yeah, I hope I didn't bore you, and I hope I could relax you some. So.